What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. A lot of a lot of news overnight. A lot of things happening last night. We got as a little bit of result SPY gapping up, but more importantly, as the SPY's day-to-day moves. A little bit more important, we got Amy in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Andy. Good morning to Bill, Brian, Chris. Dan is in the house. Danielle's in the house. Dragon's in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Emily, Frank, Jeff, Joe, Keith, Lauren. How you guys are piling in, moving the names around on me. We got Michael in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Mike, Natalie, Peter, Rick, Rob, Sarah's in the house. All my people out in YouTube land. Good morning to you. We got Harley Traders. Good morning, B. Jol. Of course, is in the house. Good morning to you. All my lurkers in the background. Just not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, the bigger news, the macro news was CPI 830 today. Kind of a little bit of actually mixed numbers. I didn't think it was too strong, too weak. There was kind of mixed bag on that one. Market doesn't care. It's kind of took it up. Since then, we've pulled back for the overall SPY. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. All these semis are going to carry us up to new all-time highs. Looks like that's where we're going to open for the day. We now have, deceivingly so, but we have one, two, three, four green candles in a row. However, this is two, and then you had an open close a little bit lower. That could have been a little bit of a disastrous gap and go after a double top. No way. The Bulls just keep buying it up. You had another day opening right at the high or closing yesterday, right at the high of the previous day as well. So still in a battle zone, but you do have some buying that came in. We are at all-time highs. Maybe we see a pullback. I don't know. You're looking at 620, 636. If you do, that would be your first one. If it starts to break a little bit underneath that one, probably 625, 63, and then a full-on retest if we're going to go that route. 624, 61. We are at all-time highs. I've got no targets higher. I think we probably ultimately go higher today unless today closes. If we don't hold any of this rally and we start closing bearish or bearish engulfing candle or something crazy, especially anywhere below like 624, 61. And you only have two more supports, but that wouldn't be a great sign. Right now, Bulls full on in control, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if they could maintain that for the next 8, 9 hours, and then no disastrous gap tomorrow. Qs, of course, are going to need an all-time high. Everything revolves around NVDA at this point. But you got Qs, all-time highs. Again, big retest gap. Big gap up as well. This is a $4 move on the Qs. So if you thought NVIDIA hitting that 4 trillion mark was just too much, you'd probably be a little bit of a sad panda today if you sold. Otherwise, long term, baby, let's go. This is such a big retest gap. I don't even know. I mean, this is 556.42 if we get down there. I got no targets to the higher side, so be careful in some of these opens, but that is good news that Nvidia had, and we'll get to that in a second. Bitcoin. All right, finally getting a little bit of a pullback. You do have a inverted hammer. We'll see where today closes. Not a great spot for right now. You did want to see, even on a pullback, you want to see something to the extent of 117,585 holds. And we did dip below. It looks like bulls are trying to come in and see if it gets above it again. Just hangs out. Otherwise, if we close today below this 117,558, there's nothing really stopping us to do a full retest back to like 113.76, and we'll see if we could kind of hold that level for now. But not a great. You did have some volume on that inverted hammer. If we get a close below it, especially below some of that support, could look a little difficult for Bitcoin world. And again, we just hit all-time highs amazingly. So let's give it a break, and probably needs a little bit of rest. Let's go to the vids. The vids coming out, I think it was roughly about 8, 9 o'clock, something like that yesterday, Eastern time. And Jensen Huang spoke to Trump, apparently, and they're good to sell their chips to China, which were under Trump banned, and they had to kind of change them. Back in the game for the vids. So good news for Nvidia. I would have thought that might be bad news for AMD, but maybe now it just opens up AMD to sell their chips as well. I thought maybe like sympathy play like, okay, NVIDIA's gonna crush it again, continue to crush it even more. But monster gap up to all-time highs. Again, I have zero levels up here. It is a gap and go as well. I don't know how much further we go. I just don't really have any levels to really determine what is good or not, except for every single person up here is profitable. We kind of talked about this yesterday too. We were like, hey, inverted head and shoulders. I think I even said I was like, if you'd want to try to go short on NVIDIA, you might need to put the therapist phone number directly speed dial one on your phone because this is just an impossible one to short. And they didn't wait too long to prove me correct on that statement. So massive, massive gap up if you got it. I'm not sure how I want to day trade it. My guess, if this was any other stock, I'd be looking for a fade at this level. Other than that, this is probably gonna 200 by the end of the day. I don't know. We'll just throw out some numbers at this point. But yeah, very, very hard to trade that one, I think, for today, unless you're getting some kind of an actual pullback, something you could buy. I don't want to go long. Now it just went from a $4 trillion company to a $27 trillion company in a day. Don't fact check that one. That's probably just incorrect. All right. We got AMD 154.24. So again, I don't know. I thought this news would have been kind of a fade. Like for AMD, I was like, okay, but maybe it opens them up for their chips as well. Starting to get a little bit closer to an interesting volume zone. So somewhere up this 159.62, we have room to get there if we get past that zone. And I don't think today for any of this, but the next big spot I see on AMD is about 166.06. So we'll see if that can start to creep up in there. We've gone through, and again, AMD's just been rallying, but there's no reason any of the big guys, the money managers, hedge funds, want to step in. None of them have really come in here before, at least not heavy amount to hold it back or bring it up. So once you're in the zone, it does often fly. This is a good move. I think we do have a little bit more room higher. Watch this level over here, somewhere around 153.55. If we start breaking that, then maybe we get a little bit more of a retest down into like this 146.50 zone. Probably not that low. Probably back to 147.48 eventually. But big, big gap. You do have at least some levels on this one. Not at all-time highs. Also, I think from here, this is actually a really good breakout. Let's just do one more thing. Let's do a little trend line. I don't know where I want to start this thing from. But actually, this was probably the break over here. This is probably original break. That was your retest. This thing comes back to a retest. I think people just continue to buy AMD from here. It looks good. It's got another $12 on the chart higher. We'll see how that one wants to roll. We got Coinbase. Yeah, for some reason my YouTube view is off. I don't know. It's not the normal. All right, let's take a look at Coinbase. Coin coming down a little bit. Again, we also have Bitcoin pulling back a little bit. So unlike the rest of the SPY, or most of the SPY at least, we have Coinbase gapping over today. I don't think it's a significant gap yet, unless Bitcoin really starts dropping off a cliff. You have your support on this one somewhere around 386.85. So let's see if we use that as a little bit of support. Probably even going to be a sticky situation, just as they're kind of at the opening price of the candle from Friday. So you might have a little support here. I think ultimately you probably end up actually breaking this down. You probably have to see at least a retest 386.85. Bigger retest would take us into like this 382.23, but we've already retested, so let's see if this one holds. So I think this one probably comes a little bit lower. To the higher side, you have 393.72. I don't think we have a huge catalyst today. I think there's probably going to be some other playable names out there in the market, but we'll see. We'll see how this one wants to roll. The higher we go, the more I would kind of want to short this thing to somewhere at this 393 level, somewhere around there, 393.72. And then targets 386.85. We're smack in the middle. Let's see if this thing inside day. Let's see if we get bought up at open, and then maybe an opportunity to short if Bitcoin is still hanging out. You got Hims bullish engulfing candle from yesterday. We have been making lower highs, higher lows. I mean higher highs, higher lows. Starting to get back. This is also a retest gap as well. Not really much volume. The first next volume comes in at like 53, 52. Bigger zone somewhere around this 54.18 level, and then maybe like 54.40. But yeah, nothing too crazy on this one. This is a really nice candle. I think if you pull back, I don't know. This is again retest gap. Maybe we could get to there today. We're into a little resistance, but if at some point we get to 51.11, I would set the alert there. That would be a really good spot to take advantage of this. You could easily throw a stop somewhere around 47.23 below this candle. But yeah, phenomenal close. I think buying the dip on this one makes sense. You still have room to an untested VPOC. I don't. Maybe we get there, maybe we don't. In this market, it'd be by 12 noon. I think we'll probably get up to 63.78. We'll see because we just bought it. Just buy things. But yeah, be patient on this one. Looks good though. I think this one's starting to get into an interesting zone. I think we eventually probably end up getting back to 63, 65. People love him. It's just once you have a cult favorite, aka Palantir. Palantir, another just fan favorite, continues to just creep up higher. Great close yesterday into all-time highs. Not bad. You're opening inside day toward the highs of this one. I think you probably have some kind of if we get a pullback. This is I got to put a little asterisk next time I say when. I can't say when we get a pullback because who knows. But 147.31 would be your buy price of that. Another cult favorite, Hood. This was up like 100% plus this year, going from like $40 to $100. So I think Hams could do something similar, regardless of what the news is and how. I think the last time they took their dip was because of marketing questionable marketing. I think they were calling it. But other than that, Hood down a little bit today. Again, this one probably not going to be as strong as maybe previous days, unless Bitcoin at some point wants to turn today. This is going to lean on the crypto space trade at this point. You got 98.72 for a little bit of support. If we start breaking that, big level on Hood that it kind of has to hold 98.17. If we start to see that break at all, now you have a lot more room in this thing down to at least $94. So a little bit choppy in the zone that we're currently at, but watch that last little support for see if we get some kind of a breakdown. Big banks, any earning trade in GS. Yep, so we have when does Goldman report? Tomorrow? I don't have any trades on them. No. I would think I would expect I'm not expecting bad earnings if any of these guys put out bad earnings, they're gonna get clobbered. Because they're up so high. But I do expect good earnings on pretty much every financial company out there. It's very hard for me to figure out how they're losing money. I can't figure it out in this market that just every asset appreciates. That being said, even if they have good earnings, so if Goldman comes out tomorrow morning with good earnings, this has already been run up a lot. So I think the earnings are good. I just at this level, I can't predict where the stock is going to go. So for me, it'd be a no play on Goldman. I'd rather, and for any of you guys that are, and I get it, it's fun, but for any of you guys that are like, hey, we have earnings coming out tomorrow, let's make out play today. You could. I mean, you could probably straddle something or do something fun with it. Those plays are all there, and it's all possible. You could throw a out of the money call, buy one of those, see what happens. I wouldn't do it on Goldman, but other names. Those are possible, but you could also just wait for the earnings to come out so you don't have to take the risk, and you could probably make the same or more money after we know the information, whether it's after hour trading, as soon as the report actually comes out, or even the next day. There's always a lot more room on a lot of these names playing the fades and stuff like that. So don't get caught too much in the hype of like I have to take something. If something looks really interesting, like where if Goldman is sitting down here, I would be a little bit more interested on bull side. I think those numbers are good, so I don't think I'm not inclined to go bearish, but it is kind of high. So we'll see how those numbers want to play out. We got fast FAST. Fastenal. That is quite the candle that came in yesterday. New all-time high candle. Good volume on that breakout. I don't really want to see that candle get taken out to the lower side, turn into a little trap. It's kind of pulling back for now. Most likely it goes higher, but before we have any confidence on that, we need candles to start closing above 45.14. So good candle you are chasing. I think at this point doesn't mean it can't go higher. There's no volume, nothing really holding us back. But I think in a longer term, if we get a dip, and it has to be a little bit more significant a dip than even bearish gap and go to the downside. Oh, the trend is bullish. I'm not going to go fade in this thing, but if we get some kind of a bigger dip, maybe into like this 42.93 zone, 42.96, that might be a little bit interesting. We got Tesla. Hold on, give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Tessie, the most interesting and complicated stock in the whole wide world. Just when you think you have a winning trade, there's a tweet, and it's all over from there. Price action has been looking interesting on Tessie. This is a gap and go. Again, if you're just looking at yesterday's candle, it is red, and therefore, by definition, technically gap and go. I think this one is going to act a little bit more like a retest gap. Even all of this price action happened higher than the previous day. So I think this is going to, today, inside day, I think we get a pullback. That being said, yesterday's candle, first candle of the day, and Tessie's known to do this. We just ran way further than I thought we are gonna. I thought we were gonna get caught up close to this 319.98. By the time that first candle closed, we were above it. We were getting some closing candles above it. So I don't like this zone anymore for resistance. I think we still have some resistance right around. We'll call it 320. Um, but I think we can. I think we could. The market has shown me we could get past this 320. That throws my next target in a bullish direction as 324.95. So we have some room on this one, and then we'll see if we can get if the bulls keep wanting to start piling through that one. I think your big level on this one. If we could start closing anywhere above 327.96, that could set us up for a bigger move. But right now, bulls yesterday showed me they can go bullish even though we sold off. It was a retest gap. That's kind of expected profit taking. For today, I think this one acts as a little bit more like a retest gap. We'll see, but high wave candle would be interesting. Otherwise, I think if we get down to like 316.11, maybe we get back down to like 315.16, somewhere in that zone. And that's only $4 on Tesla. I think it's very doable. If we get down there, I think the bulls are starting to show that they can buy this thing up. They are starting to come back in. I think it looks interesting, but we have to wait and see if we actually get that better setup on it. But I think we could go probably higher from here. We've gone up pretty straight from 291 again all the way to 322, and then we got the pullback. Maybe you need a little bit of a dip, and then that dip could get bought up again. But above all moving averages, the 20, the 50, the 100, the 200. So it's starting. Interesting looking high wave candle. I think you get some closing above it, fine, but you are into a little bit of resistance, and then I think it's good to go. So a little bit of room on Tessie, but I think it's still a little bit in a shaky zone too. Aklo, big candle on the Aklo. This one definitely retest gap. You do have some resistance piling in around 64.33. That doesn't give us too much room. That's probably about 60, probably closer to about 64.05. But that doesn't give us too much room to the higher side. That is a very good looking candle though. If you get a pullback, you're trying to buy this thing as close as possible to $60.97. Target on this one, well, if we could get past that 64.05, next target takes me up to like 66.85, and it's still a decent trade, especially if I could buy it a little bit lower though. So that would give me about $6 to the higher side as opposed to just smashing that buy button, unless you are the rest of the market. So if you are anybody on Reddit, uh, who makes $8 million a year on zero DTE options, and then you never lost ever in your life. Those guys, you just smash the buy button and open, and it just keeps going. But this one, I would probably wait But do you want to be like me or do you want to be like Reddit? I want to be like Reddit. Those guys, they never lose. It's incredible. All right, we got a gap and go yesterday on Nibis. Probably looking for continuation on this one. Again, it is a hefty move that we already put in. If we get a absolute turnaround, bearish engulfing candle, something like that, watch out. This could be a little bit of head and shoulders. Uh, Nothing confirms that yet, so you do have to wait for confirmation. But if we can't hold this level, this is a good kind of retest. We roll down. I don't see that yet. It's a warning sign. That's a really good gap. Uh, and I think you get the follow through. I would expect a little bit of pullback on this one, probably down to the 51.31, and then first resistance. You have a couple VPOCs, decent level, 52.92. Anything past that, 54.63, and I think by the time we get there, you're already kind of looking for all-time highs. Really, really, really good gap on that one yesterday. I would look for continuation. I would think that is a buy the dip opportunity if it pulls back a little bit. All right. Circle. I looked at this one yesterday. I think I even went over this one yesterday. Very mad at myself. I don't even want to talk about it. Man, I was like, this one I think is, even though it's inside day candle, I liked where we were kind of opening on this one yesterday. This is, to me, there's your pullback, there's your breakout. Bulls came in, that's your retest. We were opening above it. I even said close as possible to 186.97. I set the trade up above the first opening candle. Then it kind of dipped a little bit, got distracted by some other stocks, and then by the time I looked again, it was all the way back up here. So just because you see it doesn't mean you can make money if you stop paying attention to it, I guess. Or I probably should just throw out orders. But yeah, I was liking everything on this one, even for a swing trade. Right now for today, you're at that resistance from yesterday, or should have been support. So we really want to see that 199.97. I'll just call it 200 flat. We really wanted to see that hold today on a pullback, or that should be that spot. Maybe a little choppy today. If we start breaking 200, it's got room. I think on a longer term basis, if we get another day or two of chop and then we could break out, probably a good swing trade from here, providing no overall macro news. But who are we kidding? We don't get bad macro news anymore. Any news is good news. It just means that people are still breathing, and we're happy about that. So just buy everything. But yeah, this could, I think, turn into a very, very interesting swing trade from here. Next target, well, the next target, I guess, would be somewhere around 206.45. We almost got there yesterday. If we start to break that, I got 220.18 and then a big spot into like this 240 zone. So that's still about $40 higher off of a $200 stock is a really good return. And uh, Circle, I think, has a little bit of that maybe cult following, at least developing. So we'll see. But interesting spot for today. Maybe a high wave candle if you want to take a break of it. Otherwise, the pullback spot, it could come down a little bit deeper first. See if we pull back into this 191.48. If we get close to that, in fact, today, I'm going to set the alert. Let's do that today. Let's actually set the alert. And then I go back, and then the DJ Dan entry indicator all had buys at the spot. I was, oh no. You miss it. You miss them. What is it? You can't Tesla's taking off. Let's see. Tesla real quick. Yeah, a couple candles getting up into that resistance. So be careful of that open. We start breaking out. Okay. Maybe no. Maybe no retest, but it's a trickster. What do we got? RKLB. Let me know if you guys got any other tickers. You guys are running out today. RKLB. I guess the other one we should look at is two MU and SMCI. RKLB that's a good gap up again. That's a pure retest gap. Um, Based on this market, it opens and flies. We never get a chance to get in, and if that happens, I'm okay with it. As much as I kid, I'm perfectly okay missing trades. I have fine trades and I still miss them. Apparently with Circle. But 42.39, that would be my entry spot if we get a little bit of a gift on a pullback. Let's take a look at SOUN now. We got some tickers coming in. Sound, nice little hammer yesterday. Also a little bit of a retest gap. You got your resistance up at $11.98. Kind of in no man's land on this open, so I would like to see some kind of a pullback. Maybe I don't really want to see this full on retest, $11.18. If it comes in, that's your spot. But otherwise, I think I'll retest into this one. It would be satisfactory enough for me. $11.40. Otherwise, we're just a little too close to that resistance up there as well, and it is a retest gap. So far, a lot of things kind of almost need to pull back a tad. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor. Also, let's take a look at BABA today as well. Taiwan Semiconductor, nice move. Again, this is probably off the backs of NVIDIA, but really good gap on this one. Your next resistance, 236.26. And if I don't look at this chart and just predict that we're probably, maybe not today, but probably going to hit another all-time high, I think I'd be a little out of my mind if I didn't have that at least thought flash through my eyes. But you got 233.33. That should be your first support. If it doesn't hold, you might not get a good bullish move today, but 232.35 would be your next spot you're looking for. Since the deal with NVIDIA and China, again, I think Baba probably should have a negative reaction to the news since people are telling me that Baba is also AI and they're going to start developing their own chips. We don't need NVIDIA, but now NVIDIA can just sell their chips to China. So the gap up here is very suspicious, to say the least. I would think that would hurt Baba. But I think it is a sign that, again, we have Trump easing a little bit. He had strong commentary. He put a strong policy in place. NVIDIA can't sell these chips. And now that's gone. So now we're showing a little bit of ease of tension. And that's probably going to be decent for Baba. So we'll see. And I think that's really where you get that bullish move. Otherwise, head to head, if Baba is going to be AI and also create chips, which they actually create everything already, any hot topic. So the next, I'm surprised they're not still doing 3D printers, but they seem to get involved in everything. And then the last rumor was that they're doing chips as well. But in this case, really good gap on Baba. Look for support 114.26. We might not even get there. This might open and push a little bit. Although the last couple times we've had pops, we have sold, and there's a little bit of a retest gap. But look for that 114.26 big line in the sand. Otherwise, 114.60, stay above it. I'd have to lean bullish up to about 116.30, and a really good day would take us to 117.15 for Baba. China had news of higher economic growth. That would probably, let's check JD. Yeah, JD is also going to move. So yeah, maybe that is going to play into it. So higher economic growth would be good for, I would assume, any Chinese company. Baidu probably also getting the same gap. Baidu looks actually more impressive than Baba. Yeah, I kind of like Baidu. This is also another nemesis of mine, Baidu, but that looks really good at open. We will see. That is the opening bell, so we don't have to wait to see what these stocks do. Everybody out in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you've not done so already. You guys are incredible. Also hit the notification bell, and then it'll just tell you to